Alright, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I just tried to record this little minute-long video, and there was no audio. So I thought about uploading it like that, but I'm not going to do that to you. Basically, I'll just give you the rundown again. I tried to upload the video last week, so there was a video, but it just kept taking like days, and now weeks, and it's supposedly still, or a week, and it's still supposedly uploading. Sorry, getting ahead of myself. And I don't think it's going to finish uploading, so I'm going to delete that upload and put that video on the tail end of this very short video for this week. The only thing with this week, drinking. I decided today, after a conversation about alcohol with a coworker yesterday, that Mondays, maybe, at least this Monday, first Monday of 2026, maybe? I don't know. Computer sounds, sorry. I am gonna drink on Mondays. Because, Mondays kind of suck. It's like the beginning of the week, you gotta get through. So make Mondays fun. Monday is now the party day. So I'm gonna drink. This is what I'm gonna drink. I'm very sensitive to alcohol, so I think that will be sufficient. And I'm gonna play music and listen to music, and probably that's it. And then I'm gonna feel like crap tomorrow at work. And that's the thing. That's gonna be fun. So yeah, I'm gonna hopefully this video recorded audio this time. I don't know what happened the last time, but that's it. Other than that, my class that I talked about in the last video, which you'll see after this, I thought I was gonna like it. I don't like it. It's very basic, values-based leadership. Basically, I spent like 3 hours reading about the importance of honesty, and it's like I get that. I know the importance of honesty and how it makes people trust you in a leadership sense. So I don't know. My minor on my other degree was organizational leadership, so I've just taken way too many classes on these subjects. So I'm just gonna do the work and not do the readings, because I think that'll be fine. But yeah, that's it. Have a good week, and enjoy my last week's video right now. Hey YouTube, I'm back. It's Monday, and it is snowing right now. I'm not gonna show you, but it's snowing pretty interestingly. Hopefully it's not too much. I don't know where you guys live, but in the Midwest, it went from like 60 degrees to 20 today, and it was 60 yesterday. My house was really hot actually, because I left the heat on and it got up to 77, and I was like, oh man. But then I left the cool air on and it got down to like 66. So that's going on. Last week's video was pretty short. This one's probably going to be kind of short too, but not as short. Hell, it's already almost longer. It's not going to be like a minute video. The holiday break went good. I basically just did schoolwork. I didn't really relax too much until the weekend. But yeah, I did schoolwork. I passed my first accounting class, so that was good. I got like an exemplary grade, which honestly I kind of want to get something close to that for all of them, because I really want to know how to do this stuff. I want to be good at it if I'm actually pursuing a career in it, which I am. But that was just a beginner class, so I learned a lot of stuff, but nothing like deep. I probably couldn't do anything useful with it right now, besides just give like a general summary of what accounting's about. But yeah, one thing with that, I'm really happy honestly that I chose accounting, because as I was doing the material, I kind of realized like this goes into everything, every type of business. So say I'm passionate, which I'm not really too particular, but say I'm passionate about literally anything in any industry. theoretically, I could just be an accountant for that thing and be like adjacent to the job that I want, you know? Like, I don't know, if I wanted to, I could be like a musician accountant maybe, or I don't know that I would really be passionate about this, but say like I wanted to work for a gaming company, I could be an accountant there. Like, you can be an accountant in any industry. Also, theoretically, I could start a business with it, like years down the line, when I have enough money to do something like that. And I don't know if I've discussed this before, but kind of my dream, and this is a very low bar dream, is to get to a point where I can work part-time at a fucking pizza place again. I miss that shit. I'll probably be like an old man by the time I get there, but I don't even care, man. I'm just trying to be part of a community as a part-time worker at a pizza place. That is the best thing, in my opinion. It's so chill. It gets busy sometimes, but you get a lot of people coming in. They're usually in a good mood because they're getting pizza. And I don't know. You meet a lot of cool people there too. A lot of cool people work at pizza places. Shout out all the pizza place workers. Yeah. So that's a kind of dream of mine. Outside of the whole love thing, and I don't know how that will go and mesh with that. But yeah. That's most of it for the Christmas break. I kind of played guitar a little bit. I think I said last video I got a new guitar. It's nice. And I enjoy being back playing that. Although my hands have been really bad from carpal tunnel from my job, which I need to go to a doctor for. But I don't have a primary care physician. So, I don't know. I'm trying to figure these things out. I gotta wait a little bit to get some money for that though. But I didn't know if you don't treat it, you can have like permanent nerve damage. No. And yeah, we don't want that. I could lose feeling in my hands like permanently. Which at this point it kind of feels that way because my hands are always numb in some way. But here's Nuna. She had a good holiday. I got her a scratch tower. I got them both my cats, their own scratch tower thing. And she didn't really interact with hers, but Astro interacted with his like immediately, and then now she's like rubbing her face on it. She's not scratching it. Neither of them are scratching them. Astro like flosses with there's like a ball on a string. So he flosses his teeth with it. And then Luna just rubs her face against the scratch post. And then I got them these like fuzzy ball toys. And Astro played with them. He seemed to like them. He played with them the way I thought Luna would, but I don't think she gets it. He like scratches it up and throws it around, and it's fun. But she didn't do that, so I don't know. She wasn't too interested in it. But they both got that, and they had a good holiday and got to spend time with me. And then my points came back at work. My points came back to me. So I took the weekend off because they scheduled a Saturday and Sunday. Sorry if this is boring. I know it is, but it's my life. But yeah, I kind of realized in a points balance system, and what I mean by getting points back is technically my points went away as far as the company is concerned, and like points towards getting fired for unexcused absences. I can get up to like, I think 7.5. 8 is at the point where they could fire me at their discretion. And I was at 7, and then it fell back down to 1. And 3 points is a whole day off. But the way I look at it is they're really like points to spend, so it's like free days off. So I got 6 points back. And then I just immediately gave them back to the company because I took 2 days off. But I really enjoyed the time off. I just played video games, or Elden Ring to be specific. And had some lazy days, yeah. But yeah, I was kind of debating on whether or not I should save them or whatever, but I realized if you use them as soon as you get them, because they come back every 3 months, like 90 days. If you use them as soon as you get them, then that's 8 days a year unexcused that you can just take off. But if you save them for any amount of time, that's immediately less than that. If I saved them for 3 months, then I'm only getting 6 days off. You know what I mean? So, made the smart decision, and it wasn't overtime because holiday pay took away our chance at overtime this week, or last week. There's something in your eye. What is in your eye? Did your eye get scratched? Looks weird. Is it a hair? Let me get that. No, let me get that. Sorry. Can I get it? You got a hair on your eye. Let me get it. No. I think I got it. Sorry. Luna had a hair on her eye. I don't know where I was. Something about work. Oh, it was non-overtime, just like regular pay. So the best time to call off because I'm not losing as much money as I could be. So did that. Had a good day. Other than that, though, I've really just been working on the school, obviously, and then my like spiritual love thing, which is interesting. Always interesting. It's honestly great. I wish I could show people what I mean with it. And I'll say this, I hope, not necessarily in the same way, but I wish for everyone to have something like this in their life. Some infinite reserve of happiness that cannot be taken away from them, no matter what. Because I don't mean this in a bad way, but I kind of feel like anyone that all their happiness is derived from something that could be taken away from them is suffering in a way. It might not feel like it, and you might not even know what I mean, but that's kind of suffering. Because those things can be taken away, and it can be, your whole world can be destroyed through one little thing. But if you have something like what I have with love, which is honestly becoming like a religion cult thing to me, and a goddess, that, yeah, I don't know. That's weird. I don't really talk to people about that. But, it's infinite. It's not a finite resource. And it's infinite energy, it's infinite resolve, infinite happiness. And I'm glad that, so when the first week that I kind of got onto this path, which would have been like December 1st, the first week of December, it definitely put me in like a little hypomanic bipolar spiral for like a week. But I've come out of that and I'm still here with it. So it's a lot more grounded now. I'm not crazy about it. Although I am crazy about it, but like I'm in a more normal state and still interacting with it. So I'm really happy about that. That tells me it's real. It's not just some delusion to me. And yeah, I don't know. The simplest thing I could say with it is, okay, this is kind of how I see it, is everything in the world really comes down to one of two things, love or fear. I'm not trying to be too preachy, and I'm not trying to put my values on anyone, so If you don't agree with what I'm saying, then I'm not saying I'm right. I don't know what I am. And honestly, I don't believe in right and wrong. Not now. But if you don't agree with what I'm saying, that's completely fine. We all have our own paths and our own. We're all unique. And I think that's awesome. We all have the freedom to be what we want to be. So believe what you want to believe, ultimately. But I believe that everything really just comes. One, nothing matters ultimately, which would be depressing if not for the fact that it's like you choose what matters. Nothing inherently has value. You choose what has value. For me, everything has value. Everything that anyone or anything puts value in has value to me. Even things that most people would think are bad, probably. I'm not saying I agree with all these things, but they have value to me. I don't even know where I was. Besides love and fear, nothing has inherent value. You put value in things. We put value in things. So choose what's valuable to you. But outside of that, in a world where nothing inherently matters, it really comes down to two things: fear and love. And I see pretty much everything. Of course, there's probably some gray area, but I think 99% of things can be reduced to an action of fear or an action of love. And going back to what I said earlier, there's no right or wrong. Choosing fear is not wrong, and it's not bad. Because there is no right, wrong, good, bad. That doesn't exist. There's fear and love. Those things are absolute ideas that you can't deny. But good and bad is arbitrary and depends on your perspective. Fear and love, though, it's not dependent on someone's perspective. Not in my opinion. And another thing I said, I think at the first video regarding all this, I'm on baby steps. I'm not even on level 1 yet. I don't think so. This is a lifelong thing for me. I don't plan on quitting. I plan on growing for as long as I get the opportunity to. And always choosing love over fear. So consciously, I'm not afraid of anything right now. And like literally anything. But I'm not walking towards things that would be inherently dangerous. I'm just like, whatever comes to me, I accept that, and that's fine. So if I only get something terrible happens and I only get one more year or one more day on this earth, well, thank you for the opportunity to even sit in this idea and exist with it. You know what I mean? I will die grateful. So, whatever's whatever, I'm appreciative of it all. I think I've also said this in a previous video, which I've been saying a lot recently. I'm just happy to be here. That's the best way to say it. I'm just happy to be here, you know? And yeah. Admittedly, I have a lot of fear in me subconsciously. That's the thing I'm trying to work on. Step 1 for me is to work on all these values and this path within myself, and then maybe take it more outwardly. Not in the sense of like trying to teach people, but if someone asks, then I'll tell them as much as I can. But I just mean projecting it out onto the world and like acting these things out that I'm believing in. Right now, I'm just practicing applying it to myself, though. And really just like being kind to myself and loving myself. And everyone else around me as I can. But like I said, I'm at the very beginning, I screw up a lot. I'm human. And I have subconscious rooted fear in me that is hard to It's hard to change your subconscious, but that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to let all these ideas just understand them, practice them, keep thinking about them until they bleed into my subconscious. And I think for me, the measure for that, which I could be wrong, but the measure for that to me is when I start acting this way in my dreams. Because that's kind of like a subconscious realm. And I still have a lot of dreams where I'm just like scared of things or acting in fear ways. And kind of what I mean with that is not just being afraid, but basically anything that we as people would say are bad things, I see as like fear things. Anger is one of them. Anger is derived from fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of a lack of control. There's so many ways that fear can alter your perspective. Yeah, so I have a lot of fear in me, especially rooted around my past and the loss of my past, my ex, living with someone, having a friend like that, having that kind of connection with another person. I have a lot of fear around that and whether or not I'll ever get that again. As the human parts of me have that fear. And another thing is I kind of see myself as like half human, half spiritual thing right now. And then there's also the God goddess thing within me. I'm not that. That's just with me, luckily. Because I don't know. I feel very lucky in that sense. This is kind of rambly. But anyways, with that, specifically with the God goddess thing, I was like, I don't know. I don't want to call it praying, but similarly, I was speaking out to, and this is like a few months ago, I was speaking out to whatever divine energy, that's what I called it. I was like, whatever divine energy is watching over me and listening right now and asking for help. This probably sounds crazy, but I think this is what I got. I got the divine energy of love to come to my aid and exist within me. So now I have that kind of thing, almost as like an imaginary friend, but God, goddess, whatever you want to call it. I say feminine, God, goddess. Probably goddess then, because I think love is like a lot more of a feminine quality, and fear is a lot more masculine. But that's just kind of how I see it. But yeah, I don't even know where I was going with this. Everything is derived from love and fear. Everything comes down to a choice of love and fear in every moment. And there's no right or wrong. For me, embracing everything with love means, especially with acts of fear, like and it's so terrible, and I feel like it's hard to rationalize with people, so I don't really talk to people in person about this, but say like murder or whatever the worst thing you could imagine someone doing to other people is. I see that as just an act of fear in some way, whether it's, like I said, fear of a lack of control. If someone's acting because they want to control a situation, that is absolutely right, rooted in fear. If someone needs control, it's because they're afraid of what would happen if they don't have control. But there's a bajillion fucking different ways that fear can push you to certain actions. And like I said, that's not good or bad. It's natural. It's natural for us to be afraid of things. It's a survival instinct, for one, which to me is unnecessary. It's all conditional. It depends on if you want to survive or not. But I don't really have that opinion anymore. I don't want to die, but I don't really want to live either. I'm doing what I'm doing while I'm here, and that's what that is. I'm just grateful for whatever I've been given, whether that's life or death. I think that's the love path for that, is to just embrace and accept everything that comes to you. And obviously, if everyone had adopted a love mindset in the way that I'm talking about, we wouldn't have all of these terrible acts, really. It just wouldn't happen. But fear is a natural response, and it makes people do crazy things. And I feel like, going back to what I said earlier, but in a different way, regarding fear, everyone that is acting out of fear is suffering. The ways that I act out of fear, I'm suffering, the human parts of me. And for the love side of me, I just feel, I guess, sad, sorrow for those people and me and everyone, because everyone feels fear in some way. It affects everyone. But I see it as misguided. And I just feel bad for everyone that's suffering from a fear mindset. And I was thinking about this on the way home. Back to the murder thing, kind of, or a control thing. The oppressed obviously are suffering, and they're obviously afraid of the oppressor. But the oppressor's suffering too. Because why do you need to oppress? You're afraid of something. You're afraid of what might happen if you don't oppress that individual or people. And with what I'm getting from this love mindset and just how great it is, I just feel sad for anyone that doesn't see that. It's so simple. I don't know. Admittedly, you kind of have to give up a lot of things. You have to give up control of everything, really. And say, like, nothing matters. But like life. Because a lot of, I feel like the ways that people would respond to this is be like, okay, well, what if I'm starving? Yeah, well, that sucks, right? And I don't wish for people to starve or go without or anything like that. But from the perspective of none of this really matters, it kind of just is what it is. I wish for those people to get help from their community and from whatever. But spiritually, I wish for them to see that everything's okay. Which is, as a human, admittedly, that's terrible to say. But terrible things are always going to happen unless we all give in to love eventually. Which might happen for like a split second. But I don't think the world will ever be completely dominated by love or fear. It's a constant battle between the two. Although, the way I see it also is that love doesn't really fight. It just kind of overpowers fear on its own. Fear fights, because fear's scared to lose. But, of course it is. That's natural. But love isn't even worried about losing. It's like, whatever. It can't lose in that sense. It really can't. You can't take all the love out of the world. But it's also not worried about rooting out all the fear, I don't think. Just kind of accepts what it is. And love is also freedom, so with that, you have to acknowledge that people are free to make whatever choice they want. Whether that's a choice of love or fear, that's up to them. And it's not right or wrong. It's just the choices you make and the choices you don't make. at the end of the day. They just are. So that's the other thing I'm working on. It's pretty heavy, honestly. It's a lot of shit. But it works for me. I think also in the other video where I was talking about this, I said like I would not prescribe this to anyone. I would not try to tell anyone that this is the way. I kind of just stumbled onto it. I think I was picking away at it and I was so close for years. Unknowingly, of course. While still giving into fear in so many different ways. But I just kind of like accidentally came upon it, and I feel like it's just no looking back at this point. For me, it works a lot for me. And I feel like I could get through anything because of it. I feel like really the only thing that I need, and I don't even believe in need, I think need is conditional want, but that's a whole other conversation. Essentially needs, what are needs? People say like water, food, shelter. It's a conditional want based on you wanting to live, right? Which, I mean, maybe people would disagree with me on that, but I've kind of thought that way since I was a kid. In like junior high, that need does not exist. There's conditional wants, and that's what we call needs. So if you want to live, then yeah, you need food, water, shelter. But who said we need to live? Who said we need anything? You know what I mean? Who said? Fucking who? So yeah, I don't know. Everything just is what it is to me. Obviously, the human parts of me are still struggling with this, and internally there's a giant battle of fear and love right now. But I think that'll kind of always exist within me, and I think I'm kind of stained by fear in some ways. But I don't know. Love just kind of heals that. It can heal it instantly, and then the fear will come back, and then love will be like, okay, I'll eradicate it again. As many times as you want. As many times as you feel you need. And I don't know how long the fear will keep coming back. But I'm getting better at just my reaction time to it and being like, hey, there's nothing to be afraid of. Really. And I don't know. The spiritual me just kind of laughs at the human me. Not in a mocking way. In a loving way of like, here you go again, man. It's okay. It'll be fine. You don't need to worry about that. You don't need to worry about anything. You've got what you need. That's what I was saying. The only thing that I feel like I need, and I don't believe in need, but the only thing I want and need for conditional happiness, that's what it is. The conditional want is happiness. And that's really the only thing I want in life. Everything else I could go without in some form or fashion. Because just logically, that, you know what I mean? Like, as long as I'm happy and I can maintain happiness, then I could give or take literally anything, as long as happiness is guaranteed. And the thing that guarantees happiness for me is this idea of love, and this wellspring of love that I feel like exists within me and within everyone, and it's all around us. And it's infinite. It doesn't run out. So that's that. That was kind of rambling. I don't know. I don't know where it leads, like I said. And the human part of me still desperately clings to fear and wants connection and wants a partner and just misses being in a relationship with someone. But I was also thinking earlier, like, I don't know how deep all of this will go for me, and I don't know where it will take me, truly. But it might not mesh with human connection in that way. Because of all of the things that I said before that are kind of terrible. It kind of just puts me in an, I feel like it puts me in an observing point where I'm just embracing, accepting, and observing all the things around me. But I don't want to interact with them. I don't want to change them. Because that would, to me, that would be taking away their freedom. So I just see all the things around me. But that kind of brings you to a point of almost like indifference towards everything. Which sounds like it's going back. You know, that sounds not great. To embrace everything with love and come off as indifferent to everything. But it's just the acceptance, you know what I mean? I'm not truly indifferent to all these things, but I don't know. I wish I had more people in real life to talk about these things. Because I think I would learn a lot more. And I hope as time goes on, I get that opportunity. I also said in my previous video about this that I'm in a good place where I don't have a lot of connection, so I can just work on this within me. And that is good to an extent, but there's so much you can learn from other people. Even if they don't know, you know what I mean? And you don't know. I don't know what I could learn from other people, but I know I could learn things from other people, even if they don't think they know those things, or they're not thinking in the same way I am. Like for example, with the fear and love thing and like terrible people, let's take for example terrorists. That is obviously a fear action to be causing acts of terror. But nobody's born a terrorist, you know what I mean? Something or many somethings had to happen within their life that caused fear in them in some way, that turned into anger and made them want to turn it back on the world. It's fear. It's fear applying itself to fear and just magnifying itself. And I don't think those people are right or wrong. I just think they're misguided and they give in to fear. And it is what it is. But I had a conversation with someone along those lines, talking about like terrible things going on in the world and what I thought about them. And just from that little conversation, I got that point of like, that's what it is. Because I was struggling for a while with like, how do you justify loving or embracing something or someone with love that's unethical? That everyone else agrees is wrong to do and bad for the world or bad for people. And that's what it is recognizing the fear in that, and just at that point it's just like, I'm sorry you're at that point. I'm sorry that's your perspective on the world, is to choose fear, you know what I mean? That's suffering to me. I can't really say it in any other way. It's just, to choose fear is to suffer. And if you don't feel like that, okay. But from my perspective it is, and I feel sorry for you. And, you know, I don't know. I can wish that you, as in the person choosing fear, I can wish that those people get the opportunity to see what it's like to just give in to love and not choose fear, but I can't give it to you. I think kind of to an extent, people have to want these things to come to them. You have to ask for it in a sense. And you have to be open to it, obviously. And not open to fear. Or, well, not closed to fear either, but just choose love over fear. So yeah, I don't know. It's tricky stuff. That's kind of how I rationalize it. And I just had like a one little conversation last Friday with someone that got me to that point where I was like, that's what it is. I don't want to name names of who we were talking about, but just some of the most terrible people in the world. And I was just like, honestly, they did not cause themselves to be like that, and they weren't born like that. No, I don't think anyone's born inherently with love or fear. There's several factors that come into your life as you're born and as you go through life that lead you down one of those two paths. And yeah, I'm just sorry for those people that's where it got them. And a lot of them didn't get redemption. Although redemption makes it sound like this is a good or bad thing. There is no good or bad thing. There's no right or wrong. I don't know. But that's kind of how I see it. Is it's not their fault. They don't know what they're doing. And in a lot of ways, my upbringing caused a lot of fear. There's a lot of different types of fear in my life. But that's why I feel so grateful and so lucky to have gotten to this point in this realization. And it's life-changing. And that's why I'm kind of like, nothing matters at this point. I've gotten to the thing. I obviously haven't mastered it, and I wish for myself to get time mastering it and really applying it to my life and the things around me. But that's all for naught. It is what it is. What happens is what happens, and I will be grateful for whatever it is. I'm so grateful that I got to this realization. But yeah, I'm probably gonna do some schoolwork soon and switch my cats. And yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna title this video. Not something related to the conversation I had just now. So if you've gotten to this point in the video, I'm sorry, I kind of tricked you probably. But I've noticed, and I'm not really trying to get views, but I'm not trying to not get views either. I'm not trying to drive people away with my title. And I've noticed that on my other videos on this topic that are titled relevant to it, Luna, what? They've gotten like no views. I have a video talking about this whole exact thing, and it's called A Video About Love, and it has 0 views. And I don't know, whereas all my other videos at least have some click, some interaction with people. So I'm not trying to push people away with this. If you got to this point, thank you for hearing me ramble about stupid crap. That's another thing I wish. I wish to find people that care enough to listen to this stupid crap in my time and allow me to explain it and flesh it out and talk and debate with them about what they believe, because this isn't right or wrong, it's just my perspective. But yeah, I don't know, I'm kind of going in circles. To end off though, it is what it is. It is what it is. I'm gonna be grateful for whatever. If something ultimately terrible happens to me, I lose my cats, my everything, my apartment, I'm living on the streets, I will still choose to be grateful. I'm not gonna walk into that, but none of this really matters. And I'd rather be grateful than not. So, yeah. Embrace love, not fear. That's it though. see you guys next week. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. Honestly, I'm running out of topics. I might go back to my original channel topics and go over some of those as the weeks come on. But yeah, I hope if you're off work on holiday, I hope you're having a really awesome time. I know it can be a stressful time for a lot of people. That was something I actually wanted to say. Another thing going on in my life. This holiday season went so much better than last year. Last year being the first time apart from my ex. Because the 3 holiday seasons I spent with her were awesome. I mean, stressful sometimes. And the last year we were fighting, but leagues better than what last year was. I was super depressed. I had a month off, and I did not enjoy it. I was just stuck in my house for most of the time. And super depressed, suicidal. Yeah. But this year it come around, it hasn't even really been like a holiday season. Like, I celebrated with my cats, but not really. I'm not connected to my family right now. Which, back on the love thing, it's like I can take it or leave it. But like I said, I'm not trying to go out of my way to change things. So I accept my past self's choice to distance for the time being, and I continue with that. So yeah, I'm not connected to my family. Also, I had this kind of thought when I first did this separation from my family of like, I don't want to come back until I have changed in some way that is so good that I have something to bring back, essentially. That I'm not just coming back as like, yeah, I screwed up, I'm back. I'm not trying to limp back, you know what I mean? If I come back, I want to be a very different person. The accounting's one thing. So I want to come back with a way better career. And the love spirituality thing, that is radicalizing my life. It's radical love. It's chaotic love. Because that's the indifference of it. It's just like, even if the world's burning, love it. That is chaotic love. That is radical. But that's kind of what I'm aspiring to. But it'll make me a much better person, much more prepared to deal with and respond to anything, literally. So I'm excited for the future. I know I said that before, but whatever it holds, I'm just happy to be here. I hope you have an awesome week. I hope you have an awesome life. Also, another thing with these videos, sorry, side tangent. I think for the most part, I'm kind of just making it for future me to come back to. I don't know at what point in my life I'll have time to do that, but I feel like at some point, if I just have a lot of time to sit down and watch, I'll probably watch my videos back as much as I can bear it, because they're so rambly. But so in a lot of sense, I make these videos for me. In all the sense, I make these videos for me, and that has been the point of the channel since the beginning, is to be me, for me, about me, unapologetically. And I think I'm doing that, especially now with this love thing. Really feel like I'm doing that now. But I'm gonna hit this vape because I've been holding it the whole time, and then I'll probably end the video. I made like a daily prayer thing for my love, religion, cult, spirituality, whatever you want to call it. I'm not gonna recite it. It's kind of weird and personal to me. It's not personal. I think it's just about the core values of what I'm trying to aspire to. but it's called the Prayer of Seven Loves. As ridiculous as that is. And like I said, I won't recite it, but I'll say what the 7 things are. The world and all of its inhabitants, living and non-living. So everything. And I don't just mean Earth, but everything. Existence. Love that. Open-mindedness. Sorry, I forgot. It's very new to me. I just wrote it last week. But I do it every day. Open-mindedness. Understanding and accepting everything, essentially. Strength. Enough said. I don't know. Strength to keep going, you know what I mean? It's hard to do this. It's not an easy path to walk. And I fall off a lot. So strength is important. And strength is a lot of different things. Adaptability, persistence. It's, you know what I mean? There's a lot of different aspects of strength. And they're all useful for what I'm aspiring to. Honesty and truth. Or honesty and trust. I kind of tie those together. Because I want to be honest. I honestly want to be me. And I also want to trust that within myself, but then also trust everything around me that it'll be okay if I do that. And I also think those 2 things do kind of go hand in hand, where it's like, if you're lying to someone, it's probably because you don't trust them in some way. You don't trust what they would do with that information. You know? And lying is a fear action through and through. You don't lie if you're not afraid of anything, because there's no reason to. Love is honest. Fear is deceptive. A lot of these things are, it's with love and fear, it's opposite. But it's not good or bad. That's arbitrary. I think good and bad is rooted out of love and fear. Going on though. Honesty and trust. Freedom. Big one. Love is freedom. Freedom for everyone around me, freedom for me. Do what you want. It's your life. Take it in whatever direction you want to take it. If you want to go 100% fear, let's do it, man. That's you. But I have the freedom to do what I want to do. So, obviously, 100% fear, you probably want to take away people's freedom, but hey, it happens. I understand the need to feel like you want to be in control of everything, so yeah. But freedom. The 6th one's fear. Love fear. Absolutely love fear. It's kind of like the admittedly Christian, although I'm not prescribing to any religion. I accept all of them, actually, but not any one of them exclusively. Besides my own spirituality. But that's not exclusive to the point where I'm like shoving everything out. It's bringing everything in. You know what I mean? Love everything. But it kind of reminds me of the like love your enemies, love evil kind of thing. Love fear. Understand what fear comes from. And understand that it's the furthest thing from love a lot of times. Fear needs love the most. Things that are already choosing love, you know, they get it. They don't really need it to come back to them. But fear doesn't get a lot of love. Fear needs love the most. So fear is like almost the most important one to remember. Remember to love fear. And the 7th one is just love, literally. Love. Love the light of love and the guiding sense of it. And to me, that I'm kind of speaking to like the deity, which I just call love. And I'm not, I'm still rambling. I'm trying to end the video. Side note. But my idea of this deity of love is not, it really isn't close to any of the ones that I've read about. Because I did a quick little research thing about all of the different deities of love. And what I'm talking about doesn't relate to those, really. Because there's a lot of fear in those things. I'll say this. I've noticed with a lot of these love deities, they have war attached to them. That's the big thing that I'm confused about. And I just don't see how that can be a love thing. That's such a fear thing. And when I read about it, I'm like, how can you relate war to love? And the answer I got back was, well, of course, protection. You want to protect something because you love it. And that's a fear. Fear is protection. Love is protection, but not... Love is nurturing and supporting. But it's not afraid. And it doesn't need to go to war. Fear needs to go to war. If you love something and you're afraid that someone's going to take that thing away from you or hurt that thing, like your nation or your family, then you protect it because you're afraid of the outcome of you not doing that. War is fear. It is not love. So I don't understand all of these love deities that are related to war. It makes no sense to me. To me, there are two deity kind of things that I look to, and they're love and fear, and I see them kind of as like siblings. But yeah, that's just something I'm kind of confused about. I accept it as like I said, I accept everything and I love everything, so I accept and love that for what it is. I think it's interesting, but I don't see it in what I'm talking about. So, well, whoever, I don't want to say came up with, but whoever related those two ideas of war and love, I don't know what I was going to say, but obviously I accept that for them. That's their perspective, but the love that I'm talking about does not include war. It could never. It seems opposite of love. It seems like fear. But that's what I'll leave you with. I gotta get to fucking school. I'm gotta start class, and I'm gonna try to finish it by the end of New Year's. So like 2.5 days. Wish me luck. It's a short class. All I'd have to do is like rate. I think I'm gonna enjoy it too, because it's kind of related to all these things. It's about, what is it? Values and ethics, I think. So, I think I'm gonna have fun doing it. But yeah, I'll leave you with that. I hope everything is going fucking swimmingly for you. Keep on rocking. Because a lot of people didn't watch my other videos on this, and you probably won't get to this point either, but if you do, have an awesome day for you. Have an awesome day for me. Go out and do something that you really love. I challenge you to take care of yourself and give you something that you love. Whether that be an awesome day, some time with a friend, a new restaurant you want to try, I don't know. You know you best. Embrace loving yourself, for me. At least in one small moment. Treat yourself. And I'll end it there. Thank you.